As President Trump's advisors try to sell Putin on the peace plan, many in the West are still reflecting on the original draft that was leaked. Critics called it pro-Russia, and Ukrainians were outraged. Let's go to Emma Withrow from the Fact Check team, and I understand that that plan was just a draft, but break down some of the main points of this, because Trump has certainly had shifts with regard to Ukraine and territory.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, it was just a draft. They're going to be continuing these negotiations as the days go on. Secretary Marco Rubio called it a living, breathing document, so changes are bound to be made. But just for starters, the big headlines of this draft are number one being territory. So Ukraine would have to accept Russia's control of Crimea, Luhansk, and all of Donetsk, and then also freeze the front lines in the south. Next one is military and NATO. Ukraine's army would be capped at 600,000, and it would also have to put in its constitution that it would never join NATO. Also, there was the security guarantees aspect of all of this. The U.S. offered reliable guarantees, but analysts say they're a bit vague on that point. So those were kind of the main portions of it that stuck out to me.
Right. And another layer of this, from my understanding, the U.S. could benefit monetarily from this plan, right?
Yeah, that's been a big point of contention, especially among critics. So under that 28-point plan, about $100 billion in frozen Russian assets would get used for rebuilding Ukraine. And then the U.S. would get, 50% of the profit. So they would get a cut of all of that. The remaining Russian funds would also go into a U.S.-Russia investment vehicle for rebuilding. And analysts with the Center for Strategic Studies say that this has been highly criticized because it seems like the U.S. is kind of getting a bigger piece of the pie than maybe they should be.
All right, Emma, thank you so much for that breakdown. And later on, Emma will join us to dig into the recent corruption controversy in Ukraine and how it could impact peace negotiations.